What's up, people? Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best new metal podcast by two dudes who were really there. Don't fake the funk. Enough with the imposters. On one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. How's it going?
Great.
How stoked are you that it's fucking hoodie weather?
I
How
love it.
stoked are you? All
I
right.
love it.
Fantastic. So tonight, who we doing this week, folks? So this week we have very special guests. We have Tyler and Ian from the band. I hope I'm going to say it right. Mureau. Did I get it right?
Yeah, well, yes. Allegedly.
Well, you got the band name right, but not his name. That's even better.
What, I didn't notice. What did you call me?
Butcher? Is it
Taylor.
like when I?
I'm Taylor like Swift. Call me Taylor Swift.
I called him Tyler, right? It's like what? Wasn't Lance? I butchered his name like 30 times. I kept calling him Luke, and he's like, "Dude, I'm not even going to correct you anymore."
Yeah,
all right, my bad.
No, you're good.
I honestly didn't even notice, so it's all good.
I just thought it was great how you pronounced the band name right and and then got his name wrong because I couldn't say the band name for fucking since 2011. So
6 to 1 habit does the other. So I guess we'll start with the first question: is where does the band name come from, guys?
I chose the name because we would take this side road on the way to band practice. There's always traffic, and I thought it was a cool name, like based the way it looked, but as it turns out, no one knows the real way to say it, including us. Everyone has a different way, and it couldn't make a cool logo. None of the merch designs worked. It just became a big nightmare. But yeah,
okay.
I hope that answers your question. But yeah, we say Mureau, but we've heard everything. I think the most common would be Mureau, but we've heard Menorah. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I would always just say Mureau.
Yeah, but there's a built-in joke there where someone would say, "Is your band name pronounced X?" And you could just say, "No." And when they say, "Well, how should it be pronounced?" You could just say, "Well, you got to figure it out yourself. I'm not going to tell you." And just let that urban legend just run itself forward, right? Like let people come up with their own fucked up. Well, I mean, my real last name is like clear your throat, put an O at the end, and that's what it sounds like. And nobody ever fucking gets it right. So yeah,
fantastic. Well, it's actually pronounced xylophone, but it's spelled Mureau.
even better, right? Because nothing beats punishing your fans. Nothing beats it. So we got hooked up with you guys through Blake from Steppa. Am I correct with that? So how did this come about?
Well, that's kind of how far back do you want to go?
Yeah, so many backstories.
I guess you could say, I would attribute to those dudes inspiring me to play music in the first place, straight up. Like I went to see one of those shows and I was like, what is this? Oh my God, like amazing. And like, I saw them at some Battle of the Bands and then ended up seeing this other place and just kind of became obsessed and I don't know, spiraled into what it is now. And now it's like, we're all working together. I'm like helping them record their new stuff and and there's speaking of Steppa, there's like a bunch of updates since the last episode. Like now Ian's helping them out. Their guitar player and the guitar player Brendan's involved doing more stuff. Mark, the original drummer, is doing more stuff. So it's like a big collective of everybody.
But that's awesome.
There's a million ways to answer that question depending on how far back you want to go. But like for me personally, like I wouldn't be doing any music stuff if it wasn't for them. And came full circle.
Yeah,
it's always great when you hear that, man.
Yeah, for me too. I have to say because me and Taylor pretty much grew up in the same town. Like I saw Steppa play. I think it was in like a fucking, a sophomore in high school, man, and they blew me away. And like I already played music, but that like helped me step it into gear to like achieve doing essentially the things that I do now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How old were so you guys were what, 15, 16 when you first saw them?
Yeah, I got a ride from my mom to this show for sure, and I had a girlfriend with me, and we got caught making out at the fuse box. So I got in trouble for making out with my girlfriend at the flip. They were called flip back then. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's great. So how old are you guys now?
I'm 38. About to be 39. I think. Yeah, I'm 38.
Yeah, I just turned 36 this last July that was passed.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they're about like 2 or 3 years older than us, depending on the member. So it was like seeing like the dudes that were like the upperclassmen in high school.
Right, right. It's like being freshmen and seeing the senior year band play. Interesting.
Yeah. And it was like, I'm doing that. But
Yeah, I mean, shit. And back then, new metal was fucking huge. So I mean, especially over there.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's funny.
Oh
We
yeah.
called it Adidas rock, is what we called it back then, and then it became new metal. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, shit, that works. Adidas rock works for me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wore Adidas, right? I honestly think it was the best thing to ever happen to that brand. I can't believe they ever let Korn go with Pony. Like, I just would have thrown as much free
Oh
shit at
yeah.
them as possible and be like, no, just stay because, dude, I mean, I remember going to the mall at that time and every single store sold an Adidas jersey. Like fucking
Oh yeah,
Claire's.
for sure.
Going to get your ears pierced, your sister's going
I'm
to get
actually
some
going there after this.
yeah, your sister's going to get some costume jewelry. There was a fucking Adidas jersey being sold in Claire's, right? So like,
Yeah.
it was a ubiquitous part of the culture, and I don't understand how their leadership was like, yeah, let them go sign with Pony because not for nothing.
Yeah, big drop of the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah, fucking epic foul on their part.
Yeah,
definitely.
Big junk.
So we can get back in the step in a little bit. I want to get into a couple things here. So I remember seeing the California video on YouTube way
Right.
back then. I guess when the label put it out. I guess the label put it out on there. That was your single, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, it's probably just like the song associated with the band and just all of us, and yeah, single in all capital letters, and like probably the best song we've come up with commercially.
Well, I would disagree with that, but it's a great
Oh,
song.
cool.
But I'll tell you what, we used to get a case of beer and we would have a laptop in front of us, and then if we had like 4 people with us, we would just say fuck it. Nobody wants to listen to Pearl Jam. No one wants to listen to fucking Slayer or fucking Suffocation or blah. So everyone just say, everyone, fuck it. Here's your turn. You pick a song. And then as we
cool.
got drunker, we would just go, fuck it, put it on autoplay. And I remember the song coming on one night, and I'm like, hold on a second, shut the fuck up. And I'm listening to it because back then, when Gent was getting a little popular,
Oh
I
yeah.
remember hearing the riffing, and I was like, yo, who the fuck is this, man? And then the video comes on. I'm like, oh, this video's cool. I don't know if Jay has seen the video, but
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
cool.
How old was I then? 13 years ago. So I was 24, 25, I think. But I remember that video, dude, and I'm like, cool. But when I got the whole record, dude, that fucking record was so good back then, dude. It's great now. I listened to it a few times this week. It still holds up, man. Great fucking record, seriously.
Yeah, it does. Tim and I were swapping.
It's awesome.
We typically listen to whoever we're going to be interviewing. We listen to it. You can tell we're both listening to it that day of, because if you look, you can tell who we've interviewed if you go through Tim and I's chat history, because you'll see, oh, we're talking about Follow Leader relentlessly. Okay, that means that we're doing something on Follow Leader. But yeah, I went back and listened to it today. I actually got 2 or 3 times through it throughout the day, and it was a fun ride, man. I don't honestly, I don't remember hearing it when it first came out, but I was texting Tim going, yo, this shit is pretty damn good. Who was this again? Yeah.
Yeah, it held up very well.
Yeah.
So seriously, man, shout out to that. He froze. He'll be back. Can you still hear us, Ian?
Yeah, I can. Absolutely.
All right, cool, yeah. But yeah, I just remember getting the record because I went out and bought it. That's when, we were still buying CDs and all that shit. And dude, 3 years straight, we would just rock that record all the time, man. Because everybody at the table was like, yeah, this is fucking cool, man. And obviously the video helps with guys. So, I mean, it's, you know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. You bring the chicks, the dudes will follow.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And young guys. Yeah. Yeah. You see, if even now, I mean, I'm 46 years old. I'm scrolling through YouTube. If the thumbnail has a chick in a bikini, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to click on it, and it could probably something like horrible. And I get bait and switched all the time. Or like you go through to some politics thing, and you're like, "Yo, what? Why is Mitch McConnell on my screen? I came here for the chick," and it's whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely, man.
So in like 2016, I started a podcast with one of my friends, and we were always talking about like bands we want to get on, and I'm like, we gotta find someone from Mureau. Like, I have to talk because at that point I was like, I only want to talk to people who were in bands before, who were doing shit that I really like. I don't really care about talking to people who were in, like, no offense to this band, I'm just gonna say like Terror or something. Like, I don't like. I've talked to Scott before. Cool, he's a great dude. But like, I want to talk to the people who did it before this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you guys always came up. You know what I mean? And I could just never find anyone in the band. I don't know why I didn't just search your names out, but I was like, how the fuck do I find these guys? And then I got better at it, and then it was just we started getting so many episodes, and it just totally crossed my mind. But I'm happy in 2023 we finally got it. So.
Oh yeah. Well, by the way, I guess I disappeared from this podcast for a minute, but I'm back, so I don't know
No, you're
what
fine.
happened.
We were just talking
I didn't do
about
anything.
no, I was
So
just talking about how great the record is and how
thank you.
after I seen the video, I just listened to it constantly. So it was cool to go back to it this week, man, because it just totally reminded me like Bedroom Eyes. I'm like, dude, what a fucking great track, man.
Oh, there's a cool story to that song too. So the lyrics from that song, like a good friend of mine, just like when I was when we were recording the album, I had to write a bunch of lyrics, and I had a friend send me the lyrics of like a poem she wrote from like her first like girl to girl encounter in college. So that's what that is. It's about two girls like, but maybe that makes it cooler. But it's yeah. So that's one of the songs I didn't write. I think I wrote a couple of the lyrics, but like most of it's just based on what she sent me, and it's like, but I did that's awesome. It's like wow, it's fitting and it's a good story. But yeah, like I don't know if you guys are if Ian told you that, but I recorded the Mureau album. We had Daniel Bronstein mix it, but like that's another thing that I kind of led. It led to more recording work. I ended up recording a lot of cool bands, not exactly any new metal bands, but done a lot of heavy stuff. And recording Mureau was a lot of fun. And man, even though it was a long time ago, it's like man, I'd do it again.
Yeah, it's funny you say you recorded.
Yeah, that was an awesome
I had that in my notes. Yeah, I had it in my notes to ask who did it because like when I was putting it, like I have a Honda, whatever it's called, and it sounds fucking fantastic through there. I was listening to it on the way home from work. I'm like, dude, this came out 12 years ago, and it sounds better than a lot of the records I've been listening to recently. It sounds really fucking good, man.
I appreciate that. It's a mix of just creativity and then checking it with math. I would say is what it comes down to, like mixing musically and then checking it with the math. And then
was that the first record you screamed sang on?
So this is the first official release, but I was in other bands before. I've done a couple things with like before Mureau, I was in like a pop punk sort of band, and we did the Fire Set Fire thing. So there's some screaming stuff in there, but I don't think that I was very good before Mureau, and I think that I've gotten better since then. With all the touring and everything that happened afterwards, but yeah, it's like now it's like if on the newer stuff, if I ever release anything, it's like going to be just sort of the similar stuff, but it's more like a little lower register, similar voice, but just lower in general. But
so let me ask you, Taylor. You said you did the album. Were you guys signed before you recorded and mastered, or what came first, the chicken or the egg?
So I was doing a lot of albums for Media Scare and Sumerian and stuff, and basically they just told me, "Hey, you're on Media Scare now." I'm like, okay. And so then we ended up getting together and signing a contract, and we signed a deal memo, and then we made the album, and then the album came out. So it was we all got very lucky. Like we got like a record deal before we had like any reputation or like a touring experience and stuff. So yeah, like I guess I don't know if it was the chicken or the egg, but like we basically got signed early, and we were lucky to have the opportunity. And yeah,
cool.
Hope that answers the question.
It's on Bedroom Eyes. I don't know what you called it, whether it's like the bridge part or something, because I definitely don't think it's a chorus. But what the hell do you say in it? Something like I want to feel her on my skin or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Them 4 screams at the end of them lines are fucking ridiculous, dude.
Oh, so
like, I listened to that again today. Metal. Yeah, when I listened to it again today, I'm like, yo, them screams are so fucking good, dude.
Oh, thank you. That's a major compliment. I appreciate that.
Seriously, that record I hold in very high regard, man. Seriously, it's really.
I think I'm saying, I love her body in my control.
Yeah, that
I love
part.
to feel her on my sky. Yeah, it's going in and out of. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's awesome. I guess I like it a lot too, but I haven't really thought about it as my own. Like, oh yeah, look what I did here. Like the parts that
you should go back to it, man, because that shit's impressive, dude.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I'm blessed with a crazy vocal ability just because I can play every other instrument like wildly mediocre, I would say. But
and you could tell that Ian was listening to the drummers in metalcore bands back then, because all the double bass roll offs in that are fucking perfect, man. So you killed that shit, dude.
He's an anomaly. He just sits down and plays and makes it look easy, and I hate him for it. But that's why he's my guy.
I don't, and I'm assuming you know what I mean by the double bass roll off thing. It's like you finish it with the double bass rolling off into the beat, and I'm like, dude, that was such a big thing back then. Like every band used to do that in metalcore.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I listened to a lot of metal and a lot of new metal and like pretty much every kind of subgenre, pretty much. But like at that specific time we were recording that record, I was like really into like Ion Dissonance and like all them really kind of mathy, genty bands, you know.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so like I was trying to get like that kind of feel drums while also still having like melodic parts, of course.
Yeah, because it's
I
like
appreciate that though, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's because when I was talking to Jay earlier, I was like, it's like a gent record, but it's like a metalcore record at the same time.
Yeah, and like a little pop punk sometimes, like maybe.
Yeah, it's all over the place, man. But it worked really well, dude. I always remember too hearing like rumors back then, like, oh, they're putting out a new record. I'm like, oh, fucking finally, and then it never came, and I was like, man, this sucks.
Well, yeah, because I remember when I left, we were working on new tunes. And then that's when, I can't remember, Josh came over and started playing drums for you guys. But yeah, I remember we started working on like new tunes then, and then they continued touring with another drummer for a little while.
That we met on the Spine Shanks tour, actually.
Yeah, and he was the merch guy, and I had I was going through some personal stuff, so I was, on my way out, but I had, pretty much found them this guy that could hold up, and he fucking, I guess, apparently did the job while I was gone.
It fucking worked. Like, it worked somehow. Like the merch guy for Spine, or the guy who was in charge of the merch for Spine Shank, fucking ended up being our drummer, and it's fucking great. Just who knew?
What a fucking random find! Like I've heard of like grabbing the merch guy to be like, yo, just stand on stage, hold the bass, we'll be fine. Just look like you're hitting it. That's fine. But like a drummer, like drummers don't actually grow on trees. I mean, if they did, there'd be exponentially more hardcore bands instead of each drummer playing in like 10. But
right,
what a random! Oh, you play drums and you're not bad. I mean, that's. Yeah,
and he was good. And it's like playing the Mureau stuff. Like that's not easy. Like I mean, I've tried. I'm like wildly mediocre at drums, but it's like I can't do any of that. Like I can do some of it. I can describe what it's supposed to be in my head to a drummer, and then they can play it better.
Dude, speaking of like going back in conversation of like revisiting that album, I've definitely done that recently and like tried to practice to it again, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm doing some pretty intricate shit in here, like like
what's wrong with
you? Man, drums from the past, dude.
That's fucking great. So if you guys were to play a show again, it's like, oh fuck, I gotta relearn all this, man.
I mean, I don't think it would be too terrible, but yeah, I could definitely still do it. I would just have to sit down with the material for like a couple days, and if there was ever an opportunity to do a show again, fucking, you can count me in. That's for sure.
There you go. So
I'll help you set up your drums.
So I'm assuming you guys got the tour with Spine Shank because of the media scare thing, because Silent Civilian was on media scare, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I would say it came down to more Johnny Santos just being like, I love these fucking dudes. They're coming on the road with us.
Okay, cool.
And it's kind of, but it was through media scare. But yeah, it was I mean, we did the first tour with Silent Civilian because it was called the In the Dead of Wind tour, which is like, I guess not a lot of bands tour in the winter, and so a bunch of California dudes went out and toured, and it was like our first experience in the snow, and we had to pull some dude aside to like help us put chains in our tires and stuff, and those little things outside the hotel that look like there's little brushes that are like curved. I was like, what the hell is this thing? And some dude's like, what are you talking about? And like, I remember getting made fun of outside of a hotel because we didn't know anything about snow. But yeah, Silent Civilian took us on tour. We made it. And then we ended up going back out with Silent Civilian in Spine Shank in a bus, which was, crazy also. We were like their crew. But I would say it's like, shout out Johnny Santos putting us out there, like, giving us a shot. Yeah, Papa Santos, dude. Santavis.
Santavis, dude.
It's crazy when he left when he left Spineshank and started Silent Civilian, I couldn't believe how good of a fucking guitar player he was, because you didn't hear the shredding in Spineshank, and then when the Silent Civilian comes out, it's like, holy fuck, this dude rips.
Right, and there wasn't like, I think that just Shark was there, just had one guitar player and Spineshank, right? Like I don't think they had two,
just one.
Yeah, so no, he fucking he rips so hard. And I recorded this Silent Civilian album that was mixed by Matt Hyde, which is one of my main mentors, which is kind of a cool serendipitous moment. So like everything with Spineshank and Johnny Santos was just like magical, where it's like I'm recording this album for this band, and then like now it's this dude's gonna mix it. Like, oh my god. Like
what did you do? Ghost right. Stories?
I did the demos for that, and the demos for that, but then I did that album.
Okay.
Engineered, and Johnny's a producer, and then we had it mixed by Matt Hyde.
Wow, that's a fucking great record too, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that too. It's just like, Santos knows what he wants, and he's just like, want this, do this. Okay, cool. Like it's not. It's not like one of those situations where you send someone a mix, and then like, you're all right, cool, send me back notes, and then they like don't give anything, and then a week later there's a bunch of stuff. Like he knows immediately what he wants. He knows how to tell you what to do. He's even one of the people he could like sit next to me while I'm working on the recall notes or whatever, and it's effective. So shout out to Santos.
And I'm assuming he got a lot of his producing stuff from working with, because Fear Factory was really putting out for them a lot. So
oh right.
You work with Dino, and you get to sit down in the producer chair, and it's like you kind of gravitate to what they do, because they always got compared to Fear Factory. So,
right, yeah. Dino came through the studio a couple times, just as like the house engineer at the studio I was working at. But yeah, I could say the same thing. It was just like super, like when the people know what they want, like they just kind of tell you, I want this. It's like, okay, what do you think? Oh, adjust this. All right, let's roll. Like. Cool.
There's something to be said about, and this is one of the reasons why I like this type of music, and even the people inside it, the scene, the camaraderie, is you're not going to see Taylor Swift taking somebody out who could blow her off the stage, right?
Oh, right.
You're not going to see her finding somebody and liking them and saying, oh, I should take them out with me. Metal bands, hardcore bands, it's bands that they like, it's people that they've met that are cool. They're like, oh, fuck it, I'll go out with them. Let me take them out with me. I mean, Tim and I, we've beaten this to death, but two of the bands I have the most respect for as touring musicians were Every Time I Die and Black Dahlia Murder, because they would always take out bands that had a good chance of blowing them off the stage. And I think that forces you, I would think that would force you to play even better, knowing, I mean, Every Time I Die took Knock Loose out when that album came out before they were anything. And I saw that show, and Knock Loose almost blew them off the stage. Right, I mean, Black Dahlia Murder took out Undeath, and they took out all Entheos, all these bands. It's like, you want it to be like, I would think you want it to be a fight. And the cool thing about metal and hardcore is the bands, they're taking out not only their friends, but bands that are going to make them play even better. I tell Tim all the time. I saw, I think it was 2 summers ago. It was Spite, Boundaries, Vatican, and Body Box, and all 4 of those bands were literally trying to blow each other off the stage.
That's cool.
And when you're in the audience, as somebody who's sitting there, you can tell when they're all out for blood. Like, yo, we're gonna make sure that you don't want to talk about the next band because you're talking about us, and like a friendly rivalry way. And those are the best shows. And I love how, like, I like these guys. These guys are young and they're good. We're taking them on the road with us. Let's get them some attention. That's awesome.
Yeah, there seems to be like a wonderful camaraderie, like / friendly competition with like metal, where if a band does better than the other one, they're stoked to see their friends, and like everyone knows each other, versus like it seems like the people that play like the really soft, like mellow music are just total assholes, and like the metal guys are the guys that like rescue kittens and like will bottle feed a puppy and like
right. Well, I do you think Taylor, it's because pop is so cutthroat? Like there's not
I don't know.
Think about the collabs that we see in metal and hardcore, right? Anybody will guest on anybody's album. Whereas you literally don't see Taylor Swift. Like, if you want to go through the Pop Tart, right? It's Taylor Swift. Before that was, I don't know, Britney. Before that was Madonna, right? None of them collaborate with each other and say, hey, let's do something together, because that'd be kind of cool. Whereas metal and hardcore guys, they're always like, yo, I'll guest on your shit. Send me the music. I'll put down, an 8. I think maybe pop music is too competitive.
I would hope so, because my other answer would be like, I just think that like the people that play pop music might be just like mean people, where it's like, it's like they like for metal music, it's like you're playing some this really aggressive stuff, but you're generally kind of nice versus like someone's playing really nice music and you're kind of generally just a jerk.
Like Billy Joel. Like Billy Joel,
Yeah,
everybody
okay, there
knows
you
is a
go.
universal asshole. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. I mean, I like to think that in general, people are just good. Humanity's good, and you can trust them, and everyone wants to do the right thing. But like, I've had more problems with bands that like I record or work with that are like playing like the most mellow stuff ever. It's it's like I've never recorded as Blood Runs Black. I've recorded more Osiris, and like sweethearts, total sweethearts, where they're like like sweethearts. So I would hope that it's competition, but I think that it might be the people that play pop music are just maybe jerks.
Well, ego comes into effect.
Ego is a better word than jerk. Yeah, maybe the competition and the whatever.
I mean,
too many cooks in the kitchen, but
not related to ego. But did we see Taylor Swift leaving that suite in Kansas City in the popcorn box? Did we all see that video?
Yeah.
No,
where they
I've
snuck her out.
Lately.
They snuck her out of the suite. It was this woman pushing this giant steel box on wheels that had like popcorn, and it had said like popcorn on the side, and that's
like
how
a popcorn machine, like where it's like the movie theaters.
Yeah, like it was a giant solid steel, so you couldn't see into it, like aluminum gray, and it was supposedly like a container of popcorn. And there's people there like going, there goes Taylor Swift, like not for nothing, right?
Oh my Lord.
Yo,
first of all,
popcorn.
that's a famous person problem that I would never want in my life. But
yep.
Oh, agreed.
Can you imagine being worth that much money, that successful, and you're standing there in a fucking what amounts to a shoebox as they roll you out behind the scenes? I would be like, yo, what am I doing with my life that I have to hide?
That would feel like a dance monkey dance moment.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You nailed it, right? Like, where's my dignity?
But Jay's right. It's like you're that much of a celebrity. Like you have to do that. Like, cause it's funny. Cause like, I'm the same way. I would not want any part of that shit, man. I don't want people bothering me. Fuck that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's like, I'm very spontaneous. And sometimes I want to go to 7-Eleven for horchata at like midnight. And it's like, she couldn't do that. I do.
Hell no.
That Taylor can't.
And when it comes to rich and famous, I would much rather be rich. I don't ever want to be famous. And you got people like climbing over your fence and shit. Oh, get the fuck out of here. Get out of my life, right? Like,
oh yeah, like Elon Musk has issues with that, where he's like people just climbing over his fence, showing up in his house and stuff.
Can you imagine?
That's fucking wild, man. So
that would not work for me. I have a small dog, so.
so you guys, all right. So you guys go out with Silent Civilian first, then it was the Spine Shank tour.
Yeah, Spine Shank. We did a winter tour in a van where we're sharing a van with both bands sharing a van. We had hotels and stuff, and then we go out with Spine Shank. We're sharing a bus. That was awesome, but it's like
but don't forget it was nine dudes and a dog in a van, and then we
Stan brought his dog too. It was a big pit bull, and we were like,
remember Puck?
Yeah, Puck. I'd be like, because it was so cold. I'd be like, yo, let me get Puck. I'm trying to snuggle with Puck so I can get some warmth out here. Straight up.
Yeah, dude.
Like, why do I always want to spoon my dog? Because he's warm.
Who brings their dog on tour? That's fucking wild, man.
Santos.
Dude,
it works out perfectly. It wasn't a bad thing at all. It's like he was like with us in the venues and like was never like the dog had everything we needed. Went into the hotels. It was like wasn't like he was just like stuck in the van. The dog was part of the crew.
It's dogs on that stage.
Yeah, well, maybe if more bands brought dogs and then had them in the van sleeping with them overnight, the shit wouldn't get stolen, right? Like, big old Rottweiler sleeping in the harm's way van. They're not stealing. They're not cutting the bolts and stealing the trailer at 3 a.m.,
Yeah, not today.
Right?
Puck was cool. Yeah. Like, Puck was a big old pit bull, but like sweetheart, like all of us. So,
he was sweet, man. He was like sausage pit bull.
Did I just see you drinking some body armor over there?
Yeah.
What's body armor?
Unfortunately, it's like coconut water with vitamins and shit. I'm unfortunately getting over a sinus infection right now. So
I was gonna say,
are
you prepping yourself for some shots or something before tour?
Oh, man, well, yeah, my fucking guitar player just pulled out a fucking mason jar of some moonshine. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Cue the banjos.
Yeah, welcome to the South, boys.
Jay, he lives in Nashville. I asked him if he knew Adam from Orthodox, and he said no, which is very surprising, actually.
No, you got to hook these guys together. I'm doing a project together. Adam's a
right.
good dude. Dude, real
Yeah,
moonshine. I drank that once in a NASCAR race. I swear to God, I was blind for 3.5 hours. Like I literally couldn't see shit for 3.5
I
hours.
done
My
took a
eyes
little
were.
ass.
I
I
had the
took a
opposite
little
experience.
ass sip of this, and it just like it burned the hell out of my throat. It's so strong.
Yeah, it's no
I had some
joke.
delicious moonshine that got me. I just took a couple sips, and I'm like, wait a second, did I drink something else before this? I had a pleasant experience with moonshine, some Applejack or something
Applejack.
in
Yep.
in West Virginia. The same time I tried venison for the first time ever.
Oh
Overall, great
yeah,
experience.
amazing.
Fell asleep outside.
Oh yeah,
It was
the
great.
moonshine will clear your fucking sinus infection real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And the
yeah,
nice thing is, if
absolutely.
once your sinuses feel better, you can take it outside and strip the van's carburetor in case something happens, right? I mean,
The flux capacitor.
That's the other side of that shit. I mean, no wonder why that people just start drinking that and they don't ever stop. It's because the hangover is just so utterly painful. It's like,
oh, dude.
God.
Last time I drank it in this summer, I was the next day was brutal. Yeah, the whole ride home, I was like, fucking never again with this shit, man.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the next weekend, you're right back at it. So,
Yep.
Well,
yeah, been there.
Different flavor that time.
Yeah,
exactly. This
exactly.
weekend, cherry next weekend.
So you guys do the winter tour, the wind tour, and then you go back out with Spine Shank in a van. What happens from there?
So we went out in a van with Silent Civilian. We went out with Spine Shank
in a bus.
We were like their crew. So like I was like the front of house engineer for them for like all the shows. For most of the shows, sometimes there was other shows where someone did it, but that was the deal. Like Ian was the drum tech, our bass player was bass tech. So we were like their crew, and like we would unload the trailer and like that miserable ass heat every day. But honestly, a deal that any band in the world would have taken. Like, hey, you want to tour in a bus? Okay, we got to be our crew. So we'd be unloading our shit anyways. It's like it was awesome. We had this bus driver who just was like straight out of I don't know, like a movie, like a Quentin Tarantino movie, nicest dude ever, but like made it clear, like, don't do this, this is unacceptable, and if you do, I'm gonna kill you. Like, but
Steve,
I mean,
you're talking about Steve.
Part, how do you know everyone's name? I mean, yeah, I think so. Steve from Lubbock.
I don't know. For as much of a pothead as I am, I have a great memory with these things.
Steam. Yeah, I ain't fucking with a dude named Steam.
Steve.
Oh, his name's Steve.
Steve.
I thought
Steve. No, that would have been even better because dude looked like
you're right.
He looked like he would have been in the movie Roadhouse or something. He's like badass.
Yeah, for sure. He was like the Roadhouse bartender. He's like, this is. It's like, don't do this. It's like you don't want that smoke. You don't want this steam.
Yeah. There you go.
But dude, he was great.
So you guys did
Texas dude.
So you guys did like all their tech stuff, but then you guys got to open the show?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Dude, that is fucking I've never heard of that. That is pretty cool, man.
It's a smart move. It's a smart move for Spine Check and for these guys, right? You know, you're basically getting to free tour and you just got to do some work. Fuck it. And you're playing in front of crowds. That's awesome.
Yeah. I could say that was like the dirtiest I've ever been in my life because we figured out like we weren't getting hotels. We were just driving from place. We had a driver, but like if you didn't like figure out a place to shower, like there wasn't any place to shower. It's like we weren't staying at people's houses. Like if you didn't get food before the show to put in the fridge to eat later, there was no drive-throughs. You'd have to like hope that the bus driver, like hope you're awake when the bus driver stopped to refuel or something. So I remember some shows like I went and like found a hose and just like hosed myself off a few times, but you know it was cool. It was part of the deal, part of the experience, and it's like still a good memory. But yeah, it's the dirtiest I've ever been in my entire life was that tour. It's a month of just been like finding creative ways to shower.
in the summer. Ugh, God.
Yeah, the cool thing these days is if you get a black card for Planet Fitness, you could just stop at any one of them and fucking shower.
Oh, right. Yeah, we did that in the van tours. We had 24-hour fitness. We'd stop at some of them. But like the bus, it's like you can't. There's no the bus driver shows up and just drives to the next location, parks it. That's it. You wake up, you're like, oh, here we are.
You're on your fucking own, yeah. Or you wake up half shit faced still, and you're like, where the fuck are we?
Right. Hello, Cleveland.
Like,
yeah.
There was we'd wake up and there'd be like someone loading like drinks and like sodas and waters and stuff into the bus. Oh man, that was a funny story with how that ended because there's like a no number two rule on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So like, long story short, like we'd always play these venues where like we'd have the show and they'd kick everyone out, and then a nightclub would be in the same place, and they'd always park the bus like right by the line. So we'd be like, "What's up, ladies? What's up? You want to party? Come on!" So we'd like pull chicks out of the line, into the bus, and like we'd party with them, and then they would one took a number two on the bus, and I think the same day the generator went out, and
Oof.
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
Needless to say, she didn't stay long.
And I'm sure
Oh, no,
Ian
Shark.
remembers her name.
No. I don't.
No, I remember Shark, Mike. So Mike Sarkeesian, the guitar player with Spine Shake, called her. I was like, "Who took him?" He said what he said, and all the girls left, and I don't know. And then I think we all just opened the windows and laid on the ground, and I think I like slept like in the little alleyway where like the staircase was for the bus.
Oh, that's awful, man.
Yeah, who does that? I mean, I used to do NASCAR races with a bunch of dudes, and that was, dude, do not shit in the RV. Do not.
I agree. Yeah, I feel like it's a thing that everyone knows, but this beautiful woman did not.
Apparently.
I don't think anyone says. No one says no to her except Shark.
Shit, if we ever get one of them dudes on, that's the first thing I'm asking them. You remember?
Yeah, you guys should get Santos on the podcast.
I would fucking love to.
Yeah, I think he's writing new shit with Silent Civilian or something. He messaged me a few months ago. Yeah.
So we actually like Mureau in its last iteration was a real band. We were sharing a guitar player. So we have this dude named Matty B who's in Silent Civilian, and he's also in Mureau. But that's another fun fact about us. But I guess we stole him from Spine. Not stolen, but it worked out. But yeah, so Johnny Santos would be a good guest, and Silent Civilian does have new stuff. I believe Spine Shake might be doing something too, but
shit, I'm excited for both. I love both.
Yeah.
They did release Silent Civilian did release at least something. There's a new something out there in the past few months.
Yeah, I think it's called like My Addiction or something. It's pretty good from what I remember hearing.
I think that's right.
I think there's another track they put out too in like January. I could be wrong, but I'll have to check it out.
That does sound about right. But I think they're putting out a whole new album, and Matty B, their guitar player, is also in Mureau.
So after the band, I guess you guys stopped playing or whatever. Was it a breakup, or you guys just said fuck it, we're going on hiatus, or what happened with that?
Without being too specific, I would say being a touring band that like basically just is expected to tour all the time and just like basically like use all your resources but still keep going and not get a break. I think we just got burnt out because it was just like we're just being sent. Like there was so many times where like we would have a show. Oh, we got you guys a tour. Oh, it starts in New Jersey. It's like, we're from California. Like, okay. Or like we'd have a tour that was being successful and it would like, oh, by the way, you have 3 days off. But, I added a show in Texas. And like we would do it. It's like, it was a balance of just like trying to be soldiers and trying to prove that you really wanted it versus like the people that like were the administrators of the upper echelons being like, oh, if you guys don't want to do it, I bet this band would do it. So we're just like, I don't know. So we didn't really have an official breakup, but it kind of just stopped and then never went back. And then, I mean, everyone's cool, but it's like, it just kind of,
it ran its course.
I feel like we're not the only band that got ruined by like, being pressured from like record labels and booking agents and like being a little unreasonable to say the least.
Yeah. And I mean, Tim and I forget what tour it was, but we still see what I jokingly refer to as Ray Charles booking, where like they have you go from Chicago to Colorado to Alberta to California to Vancouver to Texas. Right. It's like, did Ray Charles do the routing for this? Like how did you not? Like I've seen stuff where they play New York, then they'll go to like Pittsburgh, then they'll go to Chicago, then they'll go to Virginia, then they come to Philly, and it's like, yo.
Yeah, you're doing like a fucking circle.
And it's not like there's like 2 venues in every city. There's like tons more now. And now, especially with some of the Live Nation changes, I mean, that makes it even more appetizing. But it's like, I mean, think about all the bands. Yeah, think about all the bands that get into accidents, that their vans break down. The trek from what is it, Colorado to California is like ridiculous, and it's just it's a
kills all kinds of
graveyard.
bands, yeah.
Who routes these things?
This was before like AI and everything. Even like this was still kind of like when GPS was sort of new back when we were touring. But I love the Ray Charles analogy. I would always say like, did you book this tour by throwing darts at a map? So it's like now you can say, yeah, this tour is booked by Ray Charles playing darts. Like Ray Charles playing darts. We're going to Tuscaloosa and then going to Hawaii.
There's
interstate freeways in Hawaii. You can get there. Don't worry.
I mean, so
it's the I-20.
I just got my copy of the book. I forget what was the title. Shit, A Roadie's Tale. It was by Civ, and it was the story of him being the roadie for Youth of Today on their only national tour. Back then, in like the 80s, they at least were smart enough to make the big loop. Like they started in New York and they looped all the way around. And there wasn't, I don't think there was much doubling back. I think at one point they went from like California to Arizona to California, but like they nailed it back then. What the hell are some of the bands doing now? And especially like in the winter, like to your point, in the winter months, right? Like you don't want to be fucking around on those Colorado highways in the winter, like in a van.
That's like the second show we had.
Ugh.
Yeah. And one of the first times I drove in the snow ever, I think I almost killed our whole band.
That's the semi-truck night, right?
Yeah, we're all standing in the freeway, just like waiting. We see the sunrise coming on this big curve, and I'm like, and we're all like, and we got scared and run down this hill. Like, no one told me anything. No one told me don't hit the brakes. Like, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, and I was going slow, and all of a sudden, like, hands like this, hands like this. I know. I have like a song. I wrote a song about it. It's called "Enemies in Reverse," which means like friends. Because if you think about the opposite of your friend, it's a new. I think I might have sent you guys a little clip of it, like what I have so far. But that's about that. That's about my first time driving in the snow.
Well, especially being from where you are, the snow is kind of you don't really see that much.
I still don't know anything about it at all. Like
you don't need to. It's fucking horrible.
One thing I did learn is that like even in like really cold weather, like cold water is still awesome to drink. I don't mind being cold. I just don't like the ice because I slip on everything, and I have exceptional balance. But I remember just like that being like every time I get out of a car or put my foot on a surface, I have to be prepared. I might slip.
Yeah,
like it's we don't have that at all here. Like it barely rains where I live. I live in like Southern California, halfway between Santa Barbara and LA.
Oh, so like, the real ugly part of the country where you have 320 days of sun a year, something like that,
it's
right?
Terrible, man. Yeah. I hate it here. Nothing but ugly women, just terrible food.
Yo, not for nothing. Me personally, I'd become a fucking serial killer if I lived somewhere like that. That nice all the time. I would literally, I'd be like the second coming of like fucking Richard Ramirez because it'd be too nice. It would be too nice all the time. All these pretty people, I'd be like, yo, I don't know if I can deal with it. New Jersey Jay could not deal with that. No.
Well,
I gotta say one of the best sandwiches I've ever had in my life ever by far was from like some random, I don't know if it was like a gas station or convenience store in Jersey, but it like blew my mind. Like just a like strip turkey sandwich, like amazing.
The bodega shops you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember what the guy looked like. It literally just looked like a liquor store, random liquor store. He just walked in and was like, I'll just get something here. And I ate this. I'm like, what did this dude just give me? This is incredible. Like the bread, whatever happens out there with sandwiches, oh my god.
Yeah,
we don't have that here.
Yeah. The rolls and bread here are fucking amazing. I can't.
And like,
next time you're around here, get a pretzel, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude.
If you're not in New York, avoid the bagels because the bagels are fucking trash down here. They're just trash. They're trash.
Well, some of them are.
So let me ask you guys this.
Before I forget, sorry, Jay. I want to ask Ian about this because I was told to ask. So your dad was in Motley Crue, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my dad was John Corabi. He replaced Vince Neil in the '90s.
He still is John Corabi.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't mean in past tense, but yeah, my dad is John Corabi. He did the album, the self-titled album, in '94. And he sang for Motley Crue. He's currently singing for this band right now called the Dead Daisies. And they're doing awesome. They're like killing it. So
yeah, I did. It's funny because, well, not funny. It's shitty from what I read. Like, apparently they're trying to like downplay him even being in the band or something like that. Somebody was asking him about his time with them. And he was like, well, according to them, I wasn't even really in the band. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
It is.
And most people say like their favorite Motley Crue album is like the one that he sang on. Like I've heard that multiple times, multiple different people. So
yeah, well, I'll say this too, and this is just my own 2 cents on the record. Like, even listening to it now, because I do appreciate it. I think it is a great record, regardless if it was my dad singing it or not. I think at the time it was kind of a little hard for a lot of the fans to swallow that there was a new singer, and it took a little time to grow, because now a lot of the people that said they didn't like it, 20 years ago are like, dude, this is a fucking masterpiece. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
it's the same as it, Ian. It's the same as Turbo from Judas Priest. It's the same as the first Suicide Silence album with Eddie. It's the same. Yeah. It's Filth Pig, right? It's bands put out an album and either the fans aren't ready or it's too much of a departure and they don't give it a chance. And I mean, I remember that album coming out. And I remember listening and going, man, this isn't bad. This is pretty damn good. But I also think your dad was unlucky because at that point, the tide was going out, right? You had the rise of grunge and Nirvana is becoming a thing and Pearl Jam is becoming a thing. And so I will tell you this though, Ian, Tim and I did an episode of Hot Takes. And
I listened to it.
And I had a hot take where I said, there is no new metal if Kurt Cobain doesn't kill himself. There was somebody responded in our Facebook group and they said, there is no grunge if Vince Neil doesn't leave Motley Crue. Oh. and I stopped and I said, I never thought about that, but I mean, all those things happen. All those things kind of happen at the same time, and I don't know, maybe something to think about. But I thought that album was great. I mean, look at how the Anthrax albums with what's his name, John Bush, gets shit on. And I'm sorry, Sound of White Noise is great. Stomp 442 is great. Volume 8, The Threat and Real is great. I mean, as fans, and we're older now, so we can appreciate it. But like 16-year-old me, I didn't want to hear a new singer. I wanted to hear that. I wanted to hear Hatebreed make the same album 10 times. They only made it 5 times, but that's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want.
I listened to that Hot Takes episode, and I was thinking back when I first saw it, I was like, oh no, but I was like, oh yeah, he's right. Same thing with like what you said about like Incubus, like Science, like. When I heard Incubus Science, I was like obsessed with it. And then the next album came out and was like Make Yourself. And I was like, what the hell is this shit? And then obviously I love it. And I was just like, I just wanted like another heavy whatever. I want another Science. But that was the wrong thing to ask for because now do you want like one more Incubus album or do you want like 14 for the rest of your life?
Right.
So yeah, I agree. It is a hot take, but it's like, oh, they're right. Sucks people have to die or whatever, but it's like, things happen and lead to other things, and it's like it led us to this, which is cool. Probably would lead to something else that's cool, but like, yeah, that's interesting that you can like take another step further with like John Corabi. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, they should call your dad back because Vince Neil is fucking trash.
Oh my god, dude. The fucking Vince Neil looking like the snow monster from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like the had like I mean, look,
he is
like
trash.
Look, I mean, I displaced way more weight than I did when I was in my early 20s. That's fine. Everybody gets a little thicker as they get older. It's fine.
Not Ian.
But, well, no, Ian still looks like he's 190 pounds. But the point being is, dude, if your job is running around on stage for fucking 45, 50, 70 minutes a night, if you can't do it, dude, just call it a day. Don't embarrass yourself.
Call it a fucking day.
Don't embarrass yourself. Just call it a day. I mean,
how much money do you need?
Do what Slayer did. Just call it a day and then take 3 years to finally make it a day. But yeah,
exactly.
As much it's like when they say like I heard this where like people are saying, they wish my dad would come back and stuff. As much as if that were an offer, it would take a fuck ton of money for my dad to go back. I'll tell you that personally. But I don't ever foresee that being a thing. Yeah.
Does your dad walk around and get hounded, or what's up with that?
No, I mean, it's not necessarily hounding. People are very interested in it, and he's not the type of musician to like shun people away. He'll like sit and talk with you, so it's kind of cool. But
Yeah, he's got a good level of celebrity, like where he like balances it well. Where he's not like too famous, but he's famous enough. But he's also just super cool dude. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
he's a Philly guy, dude. So he'll sit down with you and
Hey,
chop
you just
chop
want to
the
talk?
shit up, and yeah, he'll chop it up and he'll fucking shoot you straight. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I'll tell you what. When you get back from tour, tell them to come on here. We would love to talk to him.
Share some
dude,
That's a great
stories.
episode. I watched that too for sure. Amazing.
absolutely, I will absolutely send you guys information along, and we'll facilitate that.
Dude,
So
that would be sick because
yeah,
I'm from Philly, so I'm sure that helps.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
dude.
I'm older than Tim, so I remember when fucking hair metal was the thing. I had every cassette known to man. I mean, you blew your allowance. You blew your allowance on at that point it was a bunch of third tier hair metal bands where it was like, yo, I bought this tape for one good song. Oh, come on, Slaughter. Slaughter, I want my money back. Slaughter, I want my money back. So I want to ask you guys a more modern question. I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna start with you, Ian, right? Because we were just talking to you. What's some of the
Yeah.
newer bands, younger bands you've come across, you're listening to, you're checking out, you're like, yo, this is something people should be checking out because I'm digging it.
Ooh, good
Oh man,
question.
there's so many. Well, okay, so like I said, my musical taste is pretty broad, but as of lately, the things that have been sticking out to me are bands like Bad Omens. I just heard of this band recently called Bola. They're super awesome.
Hmm.
In
They're
the
real
same kind of
heavy.
realm. Yeah, heavy, but in the same kind of realm. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're like they're real heavy, like in the like not straight gent, but pretty like genty, but like really fucking melodic. Like it's not a lot of screaming per se as it is to singing over those like really heavy riffs. So stuff like that. And I listen also like a lot of like instrumental artists, like Chica Nito,
Oh, like
the
Beethoven?
Japanese guitar. Yeah, like Beethoven. Uh, Animals as leaders, stuff
Mm.
like that. And then
Tron.
I'm like Sean, yeah, all that kind of stuff. But
Oh, I
I'm
remember
also
Sean. Yeah.
still
Okay.
I'm real set in my ways though too. Like I'm a fucking huge diehard Deftones fan,
There you go.
diehard Seven Dust fan. Like I'm a big fan of the new. I guess it's like 5 or 6 songs that Seven Dust just released, but they're great.
What?
Um, yeah,
I did not know that. I didn't know that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, new
yeah.
record's
Just the
great.
last. Yeah, it's great. And you know, Taproot, stuff like that. I mean, like stuff that
Taproot.
I grew
That's an
up
obscure
with.
reference. Are they back?
Yeah.
That's a band that
Like,
I feel like should have done better than they did. I don't know what happened to them. Like I like some of their stuff.
Well, Jay
well,
has a
Like
good
if they're
analogy for that.
I've been following them a lot recently because I've like in the time that I've been touring and stuff for the last couple of years, I actually played drums for Tantric. I did a couple fill-ins
yeah.
for Saliva. But like
Oh
I
man. Love it.
I met a lot of those guys out on the road, and so um, I recently just reconnected with like the Taproot guys because one of my friends is a photographer is out with them in Smile Empty Soul. But I
Mm.
just saw that Taproot's like touring again, and apparently they're
Mm-hmm.
about to have like John Wysocki from or Wysocki, I'm sorry, John Wysocki from Stain, the original Stain drummer, apparently is filling in for the rest of the year for them.
Saw that.
I thought you said Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. for a second.
No,
Was
no,
his
no.
name?
Of course.
That would be a hell of a stage show.
Fucking heck,
Oh yeah,
dude.
right.
I'm
Yeah,
there.
Taproot
One-eyed
has a
shredder.
record coming out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking
they put
forward to
out
hearing
Holy
it.
shit.
yeah, they put out 2 singles. They just did a single with Elias from Nonpoint. The song is
Nice, yeah.
it's all right, but
Step on
yeah.
non-point. Step on non-point on tour. I have like guitar picks still that say "Step on non-point" 2003 on like some
gosh,
of
yeah.
them on here.
I'm actually real good friends with Rob. I was just recently talking to him the other day, telling him that I was helping Stepa with their record, and he was like fucking pumped.
Is
Fuck yeah, that's
is
awesome.
Rob the dude who plays drums like not facing the crowd? He's like to the side, right?
Yeah, and he bald dude punches his head a lot too
Yeah. What?
while
Why
he's
does he
playing.
play like that?
Incubus did that where they play like 90 degrees, like where it's
Yeah.
like instead of facing the crowd, they turn like. Is that where that came
Yeah.
from? Maybe I thought that was
I,
cool.
I mean, maybe it's kind of it kind of is a cool aesthetic just because if you're a musician in the crowd, at least you can kind of see hands and feet wise what's going on. Like
True.
if you're a drummer
John
specifically.
Otto, the last Limp Bizkit tour, he played
Oh,
stage right facing the stage, which was kind of neat to see.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. John Otto
I
used
mean,
to
I
come to
don't know.
our
That
band
might.
practices back in the day.
Yeah,
real?
dude. Yeah, totally.
Remember that
Oh
shit?
shit,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
Well,
awesome.
me and the guitar player of Mureau at the time used to live with this girl that ended up being a porn star named Courtney Taylor, and John was dating her at the time, so they used to come to our rehearsals.
But why
Yo,
were
I'm
they
not,
there
I'm
though?
not,
Like, what?
Ian, I'm not gonna light anybody up, but that girl had some of the worst butt implants I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, dude, it's all good, bro. No, no,
I don't think
no
any of them ever
shame.
worked. Like has butt implants ever worked for anybody?
You literally look like the letter P. It's not a good look. It's not.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not. I mean, look, dude, look. I'm not body shaming. Do whatever you want, but not me.
Yeah, dude. Well, look, that's the thing is, it's a shame, dude. Chicks get so out of control with it because, like, Courtney used to be cute back in the day, like real cute, just your average cute next door chick, and then she got all that shit done, and I'm like, that's cool if that's what you want to do, man. But
I think she's financially stable and doing what she wants to do now. So
Yeah,
maybe
oh
it
yeah.
was,
I
who
mean,
knows?
God bless her, but like, let's be honest. This is the best part about being a dude, right? We could be 400 pounds, not shaving 6 months, and be wearing a wife beater with holes and mustard on it, and we would still look in the mirror and go, "I am a goddamn sex machine." Like
that's
the
right,
best
dude.
part about being a dude. Like, we have no shame. It's just I'm
This is
awesome.
peak physical performance right here.
Yeah, it's that's one of the reasons I learned to sing pretty. I'm like, look, okay, this is what you look at. Okay,
So
So
speaking of porn stars, so tell us about the California video because how
boy.
did that all come together? Whose house was it? Whose dog is at the end fucking shaking the water off? And
so that's our bass player. We call him John Party, JP. That's actually his dog. His name is Jack Daniels. It's just like this cool ass dog that he got that we brought along because it's I don't know, all worked out. But essentially, it's like we had this friend named Nathan Martell who was like a big buff dude that kind of got assigned to us. Like we got a record deal. They were like, "Hey Taylor, you're too fat. You got to look hot for these girls." So like he would like help me show up to my house, make me work out. He would decide what I eat for breakfast, made me work out till I threw up. It's like if you watch that video, like I was like skinny as hell. So between the Scott Hansen, shout out Scott Hansen from Digital Thunderdome, the director, we got paired up with him to make the video and just kind of showed up this place not knowing what to expect. There's all these beautiful girls there, brought by Nathan Martell, and probably one of the most awkward days of my life ever because it's like imagine like just like everyone watching you and then it's like, oh yeah, just lip sync to the song. I'm like, okay, can I have a microphone? And it's just like pretend you're playing a show. So it's like a camera and then a bunch of people looking at me. I'm like dancing around like a monkey, and it looks cool, but it's like filming a music video doing a photo shoot is like the most awkward shit I've ever done in my life by far. The end result's good, but we brought the dog along and like it was just all kind of like we were just staying around. Then they'd call us to do these certain shots, and then we'd play the song. And for me, it was like I remember like one point they're like, "All right, get in the pool." I'm like, "Okay," and like I took my shirt off and I had these big tank top tan lines. He's like, "All right, put the tank top back on line. Hey, what's your name, Rachel? Okay, get on his back." And I was like, "Okay." And so and then we just did the song a bunch of times, and that was it. So that was my experience. What about you, Ian?
Oh man, my experience was an awkward one. So, I didn't know there was going to be a bunch of hot chicks there,
I don't
and
know any of
B,
it.
yeah, we didn't know any of it. So, like, I show up and I'm with my fucking fiance at the time.
dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, dude, it was a burn, bro. Because if you notice in the video, all of the dudes except for me get washed down with like a fucking sponge and shit. My chick had a fucking fit when she found out that had to happen to me. She's like, if you do that shit, we're over. I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst day ever.
Right?
That would
Yeah,
be
but
my girl.
And there was like there was also a dude there. Like there's flames, there's fire effects, whatever you call that. We had this other friend who's like homie that like brought his other friend that's a fire blower dude. So he's hiding behind a rock and he's like blowing flame in the video. You see like flames. And at one point, like our friend Bobby, who you see like jump off and do like a belly flop into the pool, he did that like 15 times. Like, and he like
Oh,
didn't chicken out at all. Like he went for it. And at one point, you see the flames like here's his leg. You see the flame just like engulf his leg. Like that he belly flops. I don't know. He loved it. That's not what I do. I'm the but
Yes.
it was a crazy day and it was cool. It was awkward. I mean, great. I mean, at the end of the day, it was fine, but it was just like, hi, my name's Taylor. I'm the singer of the band. Is it okay if you get on my back? Like, okay, okay, let me know. I'm just gonna do my thing.
So I'm
uh,
I'm assuming doing as many takes as you guys did, you're drunk by the end of that too.
shit house for sure. Where it's like,
Oh yeah.
we just stop. I mean, there's a part where like our guitar player Lonnie gets out of the thing and just like takes a pull of Jack Daniels. I think we each did that at least 3 times.
jeez.
And there was no food, there's no craft services. It was just like hot girls everywhere, and like I don't even know
And
whose house
booze.
that was. Yeah, it's like the person's house. Like I don't know. I don't remember. It was in a city called Camarillo, which is like close to where we live in Thousand Oaks, or where I live now, where we're from. Yeah, I still don't even know. I remember like kind of where it's at, but like we literally just showed up, and it's like I don't even know if the people knew that we were there. Like, and it's
So,
most awkward day of my life ever, but like one of the most best things I've ever done.
so back then, is that something that the label paid for, or is that something you guys paid
Oh
for?
yeah. We didn't for as far as like our record and media scare, like everything, they just kind of paid for stuff. They just kind of, hey, you're doing this, you're doing this. Like nothing came out of pocket for us.
Nice.
Like so somehow it worked out, but like we were never like, okay, you have to pay this. Well, which is all we knew how to do was write cool songs. And like, I was recording bands, so we knew how to do that, but it's like we didn't know how to market ourselves or look cool. Like so it's good to have like media scare and especially like Scott Hansen, the director. Uh, they knew what they were
Yeah,
doing.
Scott killed
We just
it.
Yeah, Scott's like one of those dudes who's done like music videos for like you'd be surprised. Like if you look up Scott Hansen Digital Thunderdome, he's done like basically everybody. And like us, like a no-name band getting paired up with him, it was like a godsend. So I still talk to him these days. Like he's this is another random story. Oddly enough, speaking about metal dudes rescuing kittens, we were playing a show in basically the border of like California and Mexico, and I found these kittens in a dumpster and I pulled them all out and rescued them. Scott adopted 2 of them. I found them all homes, but they were like someone put a bunch of kittens in a trash bag, threw them in a dumpster, and buried them with trash.
That's fucking
But
horrible,
yeah,
man.
Scott took both of them, and he still has 2 of them. So
Oh wow.
yeah, all the kittens that I found went to good homes, and as far as I know, like 2 of the 5 are still cruising and kicking, but they all went to great places, and yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, a little
That
side story, but
that definitely warms Jay's heart. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, the animals. Yeah, the animals.
listen,
I never got to ask you, Taylor. So what are the other what are the bands that you're listening to these days? What's some of the other stuff that their newer modern stuff that you're checking out? Anything you either
ooh,
touch, maybe producing or engineering? We're like, yo, this people should pay attention to this stuff.
um, well, I would say like most recently, like my mind was blown by the Alexis on Fire newest release with like whatever that is, where it's like because I've always been like a fan of Dallas Green, like his singing, and like every time I try to write anything for Mureau, I'd be like, all right, what would Dallas Green write here? And so it's like that's all I channeled him for. Like every vocal part you've ever heard on like Mureau is like from there. So I've always been a fan of him, but I like all of his stuff, but like the newest stuff with Alexis on Fire, I liked. I like also like I think the song's called San Soleil. I really like that song. I've really been impressed by Turnstile, which is like a new band. It's like
Yeah.
oh my god, that band's incredible. I'm very impressed with just like the most random stuff. Like there's this new rapper called That Mexican OT. None of this makes any sense, but like this is another song that I heard. I was just like, this song just does it for me. Like I don't even know the name of the song, but it's last week actually I had an opportunity to work with him, which was great. Like I showed up at this venue to like pick up some wireless microphones that I rented to him, and I saw that guy. So um, digging deep, I would say most recently out of nowhere, it's that This dude named That Mexican OT is like this rapper from Texas. I would say um, a band from this area called the Bad Sons. They've had some stuff that like always blows my mind. They always come out with new stuff. But yeah, I guess like those three for like being put on the spot. But I probably have a whole list of stuff I could send you guys later. But
Cool.
I'm always like the dude, like I'm the dude who doesn't like who like writes mostly metal and stuff, but like I'll be inspired by something that's like not complete opposite that has nothing to do with it.
Which you find a lot these days, actually.
Yeah,
it's
like
not it's not something where it's like, oh, that's surprising. A lot of people we talk to say that like when we write, we cannot listen to metal because then it starts to sound exactly like
or
that.
When they're in the van, when they're in the van touring, it's only like, well, we listen to Stevie Wonder's greatest hits and we listen to like ABBA and like nothing even remotely metal because, and I get it, like you don't want to inadvertently pick up a riff that somebody else wrote and then have some jackass on the internet be like, oh, they lifted this riff from blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I wish I could decide like what I'm into, like what I decided to decide about. Like things just find me and I'm excited about them. It's like I wish I could decide I want to be into this band. You know, I've tried, but the random hobbies that like I mean you can ask Ian, like I've done everything from, you know, like I got a Traeger pellet grill, so I get obsessed with that. Like I went deep into the world of like bonsai trees, so I do that professionally. And
I was wondering why I got a message that said bonsai earlier from what's his name from Steppa. That makes sense now.
Of course. And then okay, this is hilarious. But my newest thing I kind of fell into is like like for lack of a better word, beekeeping. Like I'm kind of into that now. But like that's a whole other story. But I just I don't get to decide what I like. Just things pop up and love it. And I just go down the rabbit hole and I love it more than everybody. I become like an expert. And that's what I was telling Ian. It's like about drumming. It's like someone should look at you and know that you're a drummer. So I think they will, but I'm getting off on a tangent here. I forget what the question was. Now I'm talking about bees and like
no,
I'm the same way. I get something stuck in my prefrontal cortex and I can't let it go. And I go down the fucking rabbit hole and I come out 3 months later and it's like, I have read more books about the octopus and distributed central nervous systems than anyone on this planet. And it's like, okay, what am I going to do with this? Absolutely nothing, but I'm going to move on to the next thing. No, I get it. I get it.
It's great. And you enjoyed the hell out of it. And it was a good, like, who knows? Like sometimes I'm like, want something to do, but like sometimes all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, 3 months later.
And to your point though, inspiration comes in all sorts of weird places from all sorts of different things. And Tim and I were just talking about the band Candy from Virginia, the hardcore band. They just did a radio show where it was a mix. It was their like mixtape. And the shit that was on this, I mean, so they play a very abrasive brand of hardcore and they're really fucking good. But like on Candy? This Candy. On this mix that they did was Fear Factory, Meshuggah, Dehumanized, okay? Pitch Shifter, Biohazard, System of a Down, Korn, Pantera, but then there's stuff like ChemLab, there's stuff like Square Pusher, Rotten Sound, Pitch Shifter, Lenny D. So like they have all these different influences, and it's like that's the stuff that I find interesting. It's like, yo, who do the guys that who do the bands that you like their stuff? What do they listen to? Because that's the stuff I'm like, interesting. Because then you go back and listen to the album, and you're like, I can hear some of those influences.
Oh, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Where, yeah, I wouldn't say that like I'm necessarily influenced by like metal bands, but like I do love a lot of them. But I do love a lot of ones you named, or it's like that's where I came from. Like, you know, as I graduated high school in 2003, so like although a lot of those things were like popping off, but these days
that was
like
the time, yeah,
it was the best, and it's like and now it seems to be like there's kind of a resurgence of it. And I remember like, you know, even when I was recording like Born of Osiris, there'd be riffs that they're working on. They're like, we want this part to sound more new metal, like, and I'm like, oh, cool. So it's like they're specifically saying like this is supposed to be more new metal. We didn't do like a new metal vocal on this part. But yeah, it's very interesting to hear like what other people are influenced by, like especially like the people way back before there was anything, like who are the Beatles influenced by? You know, it's like getting way back that like it doesn't always have to be like the same genre or whatever you're in. It's just what gets people excited? That's a $1 million question.
Yeah. Yeah. And tastes are fickle too. That's the other thing, right? Like not only what influences you, but to Ian's point about his dad's time in Motley Crue, right? That was the one moment where the world was changing, and it just happened to be unfortunately timed at that point. Like sometimes, there were some bands, there were some great third wave new metal bands. There were some great third wave grunge bands, right? Like, but just because the way tastes are changing, sometimes the tide goes out and it pulls some talent with it. It's just sad to say.
Yeah. Right. But that's cool. It's like these days there's so many bands doing it. There's like so much exposure where it's like, if you wanted to hear metal band back in like 2001, you'd go to Hot Topic and I remember that going into the CD thing and just listen to what they had. That's how I discovered Spine Check actually. It's like hearing their CD and then like it kind of went away and then came back in my life in a big way. But like these days it's just like, you kind of get like, I personally get like a lot of recommendations that like, from TikTok or whatever I'm on. And it's like, it's recommending stuff. I'm like, well, it's probably right. Let me see. So like that show, The Big Bang Theory, I love that show. I've never would have picked it on my own, but like whatever the algorithm picked it for me, that's great. But like these days, it's almost like there's so many choices, so many things coming at you that it's hard to like pick what you really like or find a band where the more choices are available, the harder it is to actually pick one or feel like the one you picked is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'll listen to all of it. Like I do like, I'm always driving to different venues when I'm doing like production jobs, and it's like I'll put on a podcast or just put on like a random thing that's like the For You thing and just recommend stuff. I'm like, wait, who is this? So yeah. I don't know if that answered your question again, but it's like I got excited and it went into like a million places in my brain. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say it in English, but it's like if you just read my mind, it all made sense, right?
Nah, all good. Couple more things and we'll get you guys out of here. So Ian, talk about the band you're on tour with real quick. So it's Rehab, correct?
Yeah, so I'm on tour with the band Rehab. I've been playing with them for about 3 years now. And it's Rehab as in the bartender song, which I'm sure you've probably heard at some capacity before.
Head PE? I'm thinking of a different head bartender song.
I'm looking on Apple Music. Do you guys have a record called Sandcastles?
Yes, that came out, I believe, last year or the year before that.
All right,
last
cool.
year, I'm thinking.
I just put it in so I could check it out tomorrow. Damn, there's a lot of records on here.
Yeah, so Rehab's been around for a while, man. But
it's one of those songs like when I looked it up, it was like I was like, oh, I've heard a lot of these songs, so it's like definitely familiar songs you'll recognize.
Oh, bartender song. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, 2005. Holy shit. All right.
Yeah, and so like I mean, recently, I think it's this last year that passed as we released Sandcastles, that bartender song is now triple platinum, I think, or something like that. But
wow,
pretty sick. Yeah,
Jay,
yeah.
do you know that song, Jay?
I think I do.
You probably do. If you hear it, you probably do. I'm going to say that, like, because that was the same boat for me. I'm like, okay, what is this? Oh yeah.
I just put it on the background real quick. Hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, I got you.
So like we get kind of lumped in with the country hip hop thing, but we're not really a country song. Like the only thing that's country about the band is that it's got a little bit of twang in that single,
Yeah, it says on here alternative. So I was like, all right, let me check this out. So I definitely have that in for tomorrow. So
okay, awesome, man.
So you're out for a month and then you get back. And what do you are you in any other bands or just Rehab now?
Well, touring wise, just Rehab. And like currently, like we talked about earlier, in the midst of helping the dudes from Step work on their new album, like doing drums remotely, pretty much. Like I'm getting my recording situation dialed in right now, but we've come up with some shortcuts around that to like make it work, pretty much.
Some superior drummer.
Not even, dude.
That's old school as hell, dude. That's I'm a big fan of that, but now it's like GGD or like That's mostly like the GGD, the get good drums by the dudes in the
Yeah.
periphery. But that's like the
Fuck
standard
Contact.
these days.
I hate Contact.
Me too, but I like GGD, so I'll deal with it.
There you go.
No, but yeah. So just to elaborate on what Ian was saying is that it's like we're just accessing his drum brain, and the way the whole Steppa thing works is that like originally it started out I was going to record all this shit, and then started kind of setting Blake up with stuff, and Blake's like a total genius, and like I've been so impressed by like I'm like, all right, here's this, here's how this works. Check this out. Let me know if you have questions. And he comes back like, oh, so I got this whole song. What do you think? I'm like, I don't know how you did that. Like, he figured it out. He's doing a good job. But now it's like all of us are like this collective of people who like working towards the same goal. Where Blake and Shane are both going to be involved. Like everyone that's ever been in the band is going to be involved. And now we have like me and Ian helping out also just as fans. So it's kind of a cool thing. Like Jesse will record his bass parts at his house and send it to Blake. Yeah, it's like I kind of became just like the quality control, like what do you call it, the foreman of the job, like just kind of checks and make sure things are cool. But it's been cool to empower everybody, set them up with like the tools and be like, do this, try this. If you have any problems, hit me up. And it's evolved into this whole other thing that's great. So,
all right, two more things we'll get out of here. So I just want to talk about the Fire Set Fire record and how Matt High produced it, and then I got one more thing for you at the end.
Oh, cool. So that was all kind of just a random thing where Steppa was kind of on the outs, and I was just this excited dude who was like a fan of them, and I had just kind of started recording stuff like on this little Porta Studio thing. Like I don't know if you guys remember this. It's like this little box that you could record into.
Cam?
Yeah, like just some like nonsense. Like I don't even know if I could use it these days, but I just started recording these demos, which were like terrible. And then I like tracked down Mark, the drummer of Flip Steppa, and met him in the park and I gave him the CD, and he liked it. I don't know what he liked about it. Like I would have to listen to it again, but I don't remember it being anything good at all. It was just incomplete ideas. But then we all kind of got together, and I had this warehouse that I was working at, like doing shipping and receiving, and they were cool enough to let us like have band practice there. So we started jamming there, and it turned into a band somehow. And then at the same time, like I was talking to Matt Hyde because I was in another pop punk band that like ended up working with him because again I don't know what he liked about it, but ended up working with him a bunch of stuff. And then so he brought us into a studio, we did a whole demo, and then just like we released it. And then I don't know what happened, but it kind of just fell apart from there. But we all remained friends. So yeah, who knows? I just like think about why it didn't work. But we had like a whole band for a while. We were trying to make a record, and then I don't know, they fell apart. But the friendship continued.
Matt did some Deftones records, right? Didn't he do Gore? Yeah, I thought so.
He's done like most of them since like Koi no Yokon or whatever as engineer. Okay. He's done different things, but like he's I guess like his big thing, like what he's most known for is like back in the early 2000s, like Monster Magnet and like
He
did
the
Team
a
America
Hatebreed
soundtrack
too, right?
Hatebreed Perseverance, baby.
That's
holy
right.
Shit,
Yeah,
that's
he
why I'm
did
here.
That record. That's right.
He gave us the bass guitar from that album, like this pop-up band I was in. I don't know where it went, but I was just like, I don't know. I was like, really? Because if you listen to that album, it's like that's like the Bible, dude. Like, it's what that's on my like
that record fucks.
And at one point, I had the bass guitar from that
album. Yeah, that record really fucks.
Who knows? But
he's done a lot of cool shit.
He's the coolest dude ever. Like, I could text him right now. He texts me right back. It's like, I have talked to him recently, but there's been times where I don't talk to him for a while. I text him, he's like, "Oh, what's up, Taylor?" Like, I don't know. He's a very special human being, extremely talented. Another person that like literally just kind of just gave me a big push, for no reason. Like didn't deserve it, but I appreciate it. I love him. Seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to Matt Hyde, the legend, dude.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cool shit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Monster Magnet, Children of Bodom. He did The Satanist. He mixed The Satanist by Behemoth. He produced, engineered, and mixed God Hates Us All.
Yeah, they came out on September 11th. Holy shit! Yeah. Ooh, I remember that day. Yeah, I was working with him when that happened.
Deftones, like that's yeah. He's got a serious oeuvre.
Yeah, I did. I did some. So I did this like. I remember one time for some reason I was he did record this band called the 69 Eyes, and I don't, for some reason I was there, ended up singing on stuff, and I still get royalties from that shit every few months. Just whatever that happened with that, I get like a little bit of money.
Yeah, take it.
Nothing wrong with that.
What a guy. I don't even know what I did. I just kind of was like singing along with some people. My name's on the album somewhere, but shout out to
There
Matt
you
Hyde. Plus
And
plugging me in. And
one last thing. You told me to ask you about your emo phase.
I did. Okay.
Wait.
Wow, I mean,
Before you do that, Ian, did you have your phase as well?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Emo
we
phase.
all we all did.
Let me ask you this. Now, was that like an Atreyu fucking James Hart 18 Visions thing, or where did
Oh
you guys
yeah,
get it from? I thought so.
for sure. Like fashion core. What do we call it? We had a name for it.
Fashion core. It was
Fashion core. I remember that term.
18
Yep.
Visions. Oh man.
Yeah.
So
Well, they're from around where you guys are, right?
yeah, about
Orange
an hour and a
County.
half
Orange
south.
County, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orange County.
Oh, what a trip! I don't know
Which
what I was
I
telling.
don't care what anyone says. The Orange County scene in the late 90s, early 2000s was fucking amazing. So many good fucking
Yeah.
bands.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Throwdown, 18 Visions, Adamantium. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah.
Bleeding Through.
Absolutely. Bleeding through.
Oh,
Everyone,
yeah, dude. Bleeding
there's a
Through
thing on
was
the
a huge
internet.
one for me.
There's a thing on the internet where everyone thinks I did some Bleeding Through album, which I didn't. But like, I get a lot of credit for like, you did the album that everyone loves for Bleeding Through, and it's like, I didn't record that band. I would have loved to. That would have been a dream come true. But somehow, the internet folklore thinks that I produced a Bleeding Through album. I'm here to say it's not true, but if I would love to, hit me up. I would do a great job. I would have so much fun if I got to record that band, especially the vocalist. God, just look the way he's naturally comes out so beefy.
Yeah, he's a great vocalist.
Yeah, man.
But when was the emo phase? Was that before Mureau or?
Yes, that was like I would say that's 2003 ish. Mureau was like 2010 onward.
That's right. That's right.
I would say like I remember being in high school and like being in this band and we'd all go shop at Banana Republic together for reals.
Yeah.
And we had the same hairstyles. We all decided that collectively this is the hairstyle person. We'd go to this chick. like oh man, it was like I don't know if it translated to getting more chicks or anything, but like I got some pictures where I had like black swoopy hair and shit. And, like
yeah, same dude. I was wearing girl jeans, black swoopy hair, and I at the time had my ears gauged out to like fucking 2 inches.
Oh yeah,
God
but,
damn, dude.
The onion rings. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had to
Shit.
get rid of them shits, dude. I was like, couldn't handle them anymore.
Yeah.
Mine are 3/4, and I'm like, I'm never going bigger than that. Fuck that.
Yeah, man, it's some uptake, bro. You gotta clean them shits every night, and it's a pain in the ass. Dude. I got them surgically removed. I was like, yeah, no,
I didn't know that. Show us now. Can we see it? Show me your ear. I'll show you my earlobe.
Look, I got little tiny ass earlobes now.
Oh no, you can't even tell.
That's normal.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Right. Good job, modern science and medicine.
That's why I don't take mine out because I don't know what they're gonna look like.
I take it, Ian, you've seen the meme. It says onion ring or gauged ears, and it's like 12 pictures, and you have to pick which one is a Burger King onion ring versus which one is a gauged ear.
Oh no, I haven't seen that. I would love to.
Yeah, dude, it's great. It's facts. It's facts for sure. But yeah, dude, I went through my swoopy hair phase and emo shit like probably around the same time Taylor was going in it, like 2003. I was like same, and I was like, into bands like Bleeding Through and 18 Visions, and I can't remember the name of the group right now, but it's a great one. But anyways, yeah, like going to all the little fucking hardcore and fashion core shows at like the little teen centers and stuff like that. That was my jam back in the day.
That's hilarious, man. There's so many dudes we talk to that are just like, oh god, I remember that shit.
Yeah, I wore my sister's jeans. I had the white belt with the big buckle. Yep.
I did that, but I bought my own shit. I didn't steal my sister's stuff. I bought my own shit.
Do you guys look back on that and see pictures and go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Oh yeah.
I look back and like I can't believe that worked. Like people liked that because I remember like I look like a weirdo these days, but I'm like, oh shit, people liked it. I guess like
that's the best way to sum it. I can't believe that worked. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It
Yeah.
did. It worked out.
Hey, what? Hey, fuck it. If it
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
out,
I
fuck
mean,
it, man.
it's coming. I mean, it's coming back. You'll know it's coming back when you start seeing bands do the bright T-shirts with the ginormous print, right? Like
Oh,
no,
the foil print and stuff. Oh, I
if
love
you
that shit.
remember, like As Blood Runs Black,
Yep.
Animosity,
Animosity one.
Dr.
I had that
Acula, where they
fucking
had the
sweatshirt. Yeah.
ginormous. It was printed from the collar all the way down the shirt, and you're like, yo, who's gonna wear that? That is a ginormous.
I can't do
Might
it.
be a
Yeah.
bad response, but I'll wear it. I would love to wear that. Bring
For
that
a
back.
guy,
I'm ready. I'm
for
ready.
a guy of
Let's
my
go.
size,
Bring
I
it.
really should be wearing like bright colors. I look like a fucking traffic cone. Yeah.
Dude,
But then
back
again,
in the day, I had that fucking Animosity hoodie that had the fucking gold foil on the front, man.
I forgot about the
That
gold
shit
foil
was
shit.
hot
I love
back in
it.
the day. Yeah.
But you watch
Yep.
it once and it's ruined. Oh my god, I
Yeah.
forgot all about that. I want
Yep.
it back. So
eBay,
all right, here we
man.
go.
Depop.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can find it on
or
Depop.
or you just find a printer and print a run of like limited edition hoodies. And there's enough people on the internet. I'm always surprised at what I see coming out. Like there is a market, there is a fan base for just about everything. Like there really is. I ended up down some. This is kind of geeky. This is really geeky. I ended up down some weird rabbit hole today. I came across this publisher who's doing a hardcover, like 700-page book, which is the history of the G.I. Joe figures. So it's all the
cool.
original artwork,
Christ.
all the back cards, all the pictures, like all the mock-ups, interviews, and it literally comes in a giant green case that was, remember the figure case that they had you put on your belt?
Yes.
It would hold 3 figures. It's like that. They said the whole package itself weighs 17 pounds. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, how much is
Wow,
this?
that's
$150. Buy now. Just don't think, because if I think about it, I'm going to hate myself. Just buy now. And when I get it,
I would love. Yeah, I would
when
love
I
to see
get it,
that.
it's
Like,
going to be some 20-pound box, and my wife is going to be like, "What the fuck is this? How much did you spend on this?" So,
just blame it on me. Be like, I was talking to this dude, Taylor from Mureau. He started talking about this thing called the toys that built us, the toys that made us. It's all my fault. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah, give her his Instagram handle and
yeah, right.
Yeah,
No,
it's pretty much like my name for sure.
Just do what I do now. When I get something and I don't want to know I got, I just stick it in my car on the way back from the mailbox, and then when she goes out somewhere, it miraculously ends up in the house. And whatever. Nobody, no harm, no foul, right?
exactly.
Right,
So we're getting real late, and I want to be respectful of you guys' time. So I'm gonna start with you, Ian. People want to check out the band you're currently working with. They want to find you online. Maybe they got some questions. Where do they go?
Man, you can go to Facebook, Instagram, any of the downloading platforms, Apple Music, anything like that, Spotify. With the Facebook and Instagram handles, I believe it is We Are Rehab or Rehab the Band, one of those two.
Awesome.
Yes.
And Taylor, same question. People want to come find you. Maybe they want to get some work produced. Where do they go?
Oh yeah, I'm easy to find. If you want to go to Instagram, it's Instagram with 2 M's, INSTAYGRAMM. But I don't know. I guess for lack of anything else, I'd say just go check out Ruthless Karma. This shirt that I'm wearing, it's like my homie's company. Most of what I wear, it's like just whatever. Check it out. You'll love it. If not, write to me on Instagram about it. But this was awesome. I wish we could keep going. I mean, between like the 4 of us, like especially me and Ian, we could go a whole day if you wanted to. So,
dude, let's do another one soon. Fuck it. When you get back from tour, dude, let us know, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
He's on tour now. When you need us, we're available. So we had lots of things to talk about. Obviously, with kindred spirits, we could be like the guest opinions on like new metal topics or whatever. Pop in. We'd love to be included. We love you guys. I've listened to a few episodes. I love all of it. But yeah, I could talk forever. So could Ian. We know you're trying to end this up, or you know what I'm saying. Sometimes I get excited. It's hard to speak.
We got you.
No, definitely.
We really do.
We love you.
We want to thank you guys for coming on. We really do appreciate your time. We will definitely have you on again. I'll tell you, one of the things we've been doing with a lot of our past guests is they'll come to us and say, "Hey, we want to deep dive on this album," and it's really cool to hear actual artists like like not picking apart, but discussing somebody else. We just did Alex Ramash's Like Rain. We did Results May Vary by Limp Bizkit. We had Gary from Memorage did he did Follow the Leader, and he did Iowa with us back to back. We have the two young guys from Drowner, one of the best new metal bands out right now, coming out of the Pacific Northwest. They're coming on to do Satisfaction
from
Death
there?
with Desire.
Sick.
So yeah, good stuff. So yeah, we want to thank you guys for coming on. The door is always open. We want to thank everybody for watching, listening, tuning in again. New Breed _ podcast, Twitter and Instagram, newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on r/new metal. So until next episode, we want to thank Ian. We want to thank Taylor. And until next time, this is New Breed Podcast saying peace.
Later.
Peace.